This is quite a long answer, but I'm going to give you the short version and then link you to somewhere where you can get more information. Pros of traditional publishing. Someone else does all the formatting and the copy editing and the proofreading and the cover design and all the fiddly little bits that give you a really polished product, which a lot of people don't enjoy. You'll also get the opportunity to get into bigger bookstores much more easily, but that's not a guarantee. Cons of traditional publishing. You get less control. You may not have a say over the final product. There are examples of some authors like Jodi Picoult who do not like or did not like how their book was marketed. Female fantasy authors whose books get put into YA purely because they're female, things like that. And again, those authors don't have a say. You can't earn royalties until you've paid back your advance. And depending on how big your advance is and how big your sales are, that could be a very long time, or it could be less, but let's face it, most of us aren't Colleen Hoover. You also may have to pay for marketing out of your own pocket. When I interviewed Elizabeth Spann Craig, she was a midlist traditionally published author and she had to pay for her own book tour. But other people get more of the profits than you do. So you're paying more, but you also have to sell more to make back that money. And the other thing is, if your first book or the later books in the series don't do that well, you can not only lose your contract, which means you don't publish another book with that company, but you may end up losing the rights to your characters as well. And I have known some people spend a very long time trying to get their rights back. The pros of indie publishing. So you get more creative control over the finished product. You get a higher percentage of royalties. This can be anything from 30 to 70%, which is a lot when you compare it to how if someone buys a discounted book from somewhere, then the author could get as little as a penny from that sale. You also have to pay for marketing, but you do get all of that profit yourself. Cons of indie publishing. It's a lot of work and it can have a really steep learning curve. And it can take a while to build momentum. Series generally work better as an indie. For context, I published my first book in 2016. I was 3 or 4 books into that series when it hit top 10 on Amazon. My third series, Afterlife Calls, that was published under a new pen name, and I published the first book of that in 2021, and that took off basically this month when I was 5 books in. So you do have to be patient and very much treat it as a business. And regardless of whether you go trad or indie, you will have to do your own marketing. It's a complete myth that traditional publishers will do it for you. If you've got a big audience, they're more likely to, but if you've got that big audience, you've probably already done some marketing anyway. If you want a more in-depth answer to what it's like being traditionally published versus independently published, check out my interview on the Writer's Mindset podcast with hybrid author Elizabeth Spann Craig. You can find it over on YouTube at youtube.com/writersmindset or on the Writer's Cookbook at writerscookbook.com.